Classic typing. Welcome, guys, to Unfiltered, episode 62. I forgot the yo. Damn it! I got totally messed up by the
Show's
typing
already
here.
ruined.
I know, show's already ruined. I'm your host, ChanManV. Got my co-host each and every week, Destiny and Richard here. What's up, fellas?
Yo, what's up?
Hi.
Hey, all right, and
Yo.
we got our guest, who's not Cody, who we waited for, and we actually postponed this show until today for. We're gonna have to give him shit next week if he when he's on the show. But we do have a great replacement here at Heyoka. He's the director of operations for Team Liquid, runs a lot of the Team Liquid Dota content and team and all that stuff at this point, right? Right, Matt? Is that
Correct.
correct?
I don't run the team.
Don't run the team. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Welcome to the show, buddy. This is your second time on Unfiltered, right?
First, I was
he
on
did
some
climb in
other
the ladder
show
with
you
us.
had.
Oh,
Yes.
climb the ladder with us. That's
He
right.
did climb in the
Different
ladder
show.
with us.
That's right. That's
A
right.
year
That's
ago.
when I fell in love with him.
That's right. You fell in love with
Yes.
him. The bromance
We had our brief
started.
love affair.
We did.
Good stuff. All right, well, guys, got a lot to talk about today. It's kind of crazy. It's only been 1 week, and so much stuff has happened. Lots of
The summer
esports.
is so busy.
I know, isn't it? It's like every single week. It's like I think a week ago we had Evo, and what was going on that week? Evo, Red Bull, and just one other thing
group
too.
stages.
Yeah, group stages. And then this past week it was like TI, IEM, DreamHack, lots of stuff. Even some League of Legends stuff going on too. So we'll talk about each of those events. There's also some StarCraft 2 community events going. There's a lot of stuff going on with StarCraft 2 also. And some other kind of miscellaneous things. Richard, some news for him. We'll start things off with that. Twitch actually announcing an interesting feature that they're adding to the service. And then we'll try to get to Q&A today, guys. I actually have a hard stop at 7:30 today. Got a birthday dinner I got to at least get to the second half of. I'm going to be missing at least the first part. But let's get started with Richard's news. So, big guy here is joining Daily Dot.
Yeah.
Leaving Esports Heaven.
Yeah. After 6 years of working for one company, I think it was the argument with Cats that made me realize, when he said that I can't tie down a job.
You need to get a real job.
Oh, you need to.
Yeah, it really brought it home. Like when you're being lectured by a guy who's lived on the handouts from teenage kids for so long.
Oh, my.
I think you really got to assess what you're doing with your life. So I decided to man up and get a real job. No, look, that's hugely disparaging to my wonderful employers of 6 years, Heaven Media, who, when they were being told I was a alcoholic, drug addict, all true, of course, and they shouldn't employ me, they did it anyway, and have stood by me through thick and thin. My outbursts on Twitter, my outbursts on the forums, my outbursts on shows like this. I've never really been.
Come on.
Well, I do say some ridiculous things and probably
We get the best version of Richard on the shows. Is what we get.
Well, that's one way of putting it. Yeah. So they've been real good to me, and I've had complete autonomy over the website, which has been both a blessing and a curse. I don't think I've done a particularly great job as editor of the website. Like I've lost the stomach for the fight now. It's like got really hard. I've kind of run out of ideas, and I just want to write and create content, do shows like this, do podcasts, and that's not fair to take a back seat and basically let the staff below me do the hard yards just because I can't. So I talked to the bosses and said we should probably get someone new in, and that's going to be a chap called Drexin, who runs the League of Legends part of Gosu Gamers. Big fan of his. Think he's a top guy. He's got a very thick skin. Obviously, Gosu Game is predominantly a Dota site, so running the league section over there, you can imagine. So that puts him in good stead for the task ahead. And he's already hit the ground running. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they achieve together, and looking forward to seeing what me and the Daily Dot can do, because Daily Dot are real serious about esports coverage, and they're looking to double down. So was a little bit surprised that it all came out into the public domain, because I don't really consider myself that important. But
so when does that start? When does that start?
Well, I've already kind of started it, but like I officially leave at the end of the month. So all the guys are doing all of this, like tearful farewell, like I died, posts and stuff like that, which is cool. So yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I need a new challenge. I think it was clear that I was sort of stagnating and wasn't trying as hard. I don't think my work was up to the standard it was maybe a year ago, bar one or two high points. And I think already at the Daily Dot, thanks to having an editor, I've written better articles there. than I have at Heaven Media, where I don't have somebody telling me whether I'm bad or not. You know, I'm the boss. So it's great. It's great. Daily Dot's a good website, great team. So yeah, looking forward to it, dude.
Yeah, congrats, man. I'm happy that you're getting this change. I know you've been looking or waiting for the change to kind of present.
Yeah, I mean,
to you. So this
I
is
honestly
really great
thought it would be on gamers, dude. Like I honestly thought on gamers would come in and snap me up.
I think a lot of people thought it would be on gamers.
You know, I've no idea why it didn't work
going for
out.
I think they hired Joe Interzone.
Yeah,
Edwards. That's what happened. Joe Interzone Edwards just screwed it for you, man.
I think the whole Joe Interzone Edwards thing just really kind of blew me out the water and left me with no chance. Can't wait to read his second piece. But it really sucks. I honestly thought I would end up there. Like seriously, I thought they'd made such a big play to make it this like bastion of esports journalism. Well, not tooting my own horn or anything, kind of experienced in that area. So I thought maybe, just maybe, I would slot alongside nicely like colleagues like Rod and rest in peace and Duncan.
Would you? I'm legitimately curious. If you had an offer to work for On Gamers right now, would you go there?
Oh no, not now. I've already committed myself to
okay.
to the
or no.
So.
I mean, like if you
were still at
Daily
esports,
hadn't accepted.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, if On Gamers had come
Gamers?
in, it's no secret. I think this is pretty well known to the people in the industry. On Gamers approached me on 2 occasions, and I turned them down because I had this thing in my head that they were like a conspiracy. They were part of some horrible network of conspiracy in esports. I didn't know where they were going direction wise. I felt they were maybe going to be a riot puppet or a puppet of like, I don't know, shadowy organizations like Sapinda and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but now I'm a puppet of one of them. I kind of feel different about the whole thing. But no, so I did turn them down a couple of times, and I said at the time I regretted it. Like absolutely, they know I regretted it. I probably should have took the offer. Certainly the second time, when I actually said to Kim Rob's face, "You can stick it up your ass," which, again, I don't know why I did that. I really don't.
Well,
but
do you think On Gamers? Do you think On Gamers is going to be around in a few months?
I hope it is. Competition's good for everybody. Look. They've invested so much into it. Like, it would be a massive shame if it did fall because of the whole Reddit thing. I think they've come up with some very creative solutions of getting around it, using the YouTube channel, getting Duncan to do spoken recaps or summaries of the articles, and then embedding the link to the article in the YouTube and then uploading the YouTube on Reddit. Very smart ways to get around the situation. Mm-hmm. And I don't want Duncan on the fucking poverty line or I don't want him claiming the dole. I don't want Travis to not be doing his interviews at events. I don't want all the junior writers there. Guys like Sam Nordmark, Victor Moulendijks, Cyborg Matt, of course, and the Dope community. I don't want these people adrift and looking for a job because esports journalism is still criminally undervalued, and everybody knows that they'll struggle to find somebody who can afford to employ them and pay them what they're worth. I hope On Gamers go from strength to strength. But obviously, they are a competitor, so I'm looking forward to see who can dish the best stories and produce the best work.
Yeah, good stuff.
Whoa,
so there you go.
No fucking way.
What?
Do you see this link in chat?
What?
Wait, I'm sorry, I should read it first. The title of the article was Google's $1 billion Twitch acquisition confirmed. But it might be shit.
Actually...
Well, sorry. I don't know, I just got posted in chat.
That's not enough, man.
Wait, we need to check
man.
with Sir Scoots, man. We need to check with
Sir
we
need a double S, double
N. It's not official until Scoots has retweeted it.
All right, well, let's move on for now.
Oh.
If it's
let's not talk about
if it manifests itself as this news, we'll talk about it at the end. Okay, next up, Twitch, or some news came out on Twitch that they announced a host mode. And you guys read this article here? Actually, let me...
Yeah.
Actually, the folks that are watching, they're watching the
it.
stream right now. Here, let me link it to you guys. You can actually find the links. I'm starting to link, or I'm starting to post all the links that we use on the shows on a post on my website, so you can find that. It's going to be updated as we go. But okay, so Twitch is adding a feature to their platform that's going to be that's called host mode, and what that allows you to do is you as a channel owner, when you're done streaming or you just have no more content to really stream out to your viewers or your followers, you can actually host a different stream. and their content will be played on your stream. There, so that your followers, your normal channel viewers, subscribers will be able to watch some kind of content on your channel. The content, the content streamer that you're using, they'll be receiving views for it, but it's not clear as to whether the host channel will be credited with views or not. If there's some kind of split between ad revenue or whatnot. But kind of want to get your opinions on the host mode itself. Steven, did you read the article too? I'm really most curious to see what you think about it.
Yeah,
I'm reading about Google's $1 billion Twitch acquisition, dog. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Holy shit. I'm sorry, okay.
Okay.
No, it's good. It's good shit. Like you said, I don't know exactly how the details will pan out. Like, is ad revenue going to be split, or who gets the views, or like if you click... Like, let's say I'm watching a channel that's hosting another one, and I follow this channel because I like that content. Does that channel get a follow? Like, I don't know, that the specifics of how it works out will be really strange, but the idea itself is really good. It's something that I've looked into on my own website, like having other streams trade out there, because the idea to merge communities, or the idea to have like a large community that exists for a certain player also bleed over to another streamer that wants to stream. I mean, it's really beneficial for the smaller guy in that circumstance.
Okay, so is it actually beneficial to the smaller guy in the grand scheme of things?
Definitely. Oh yeah, for sure.
Do you think the exposure outweighs whatever the negatives could happen?
What? The only possible negatives are you losing views because someone else is hosting your shit. But I mean, if that guy is way bigger than you, like, for instance, like if I had the opportunity for Double Lift to host my stream, like I would take that 1,000,000 times over, and I would do it I wouldn't ask for any ad revenue because the exposure would be amazing. I would make sure that if I knew that he was hosting my stream, I would be like in a really good mood that day. I'd try to be funny. I would try to convert as many people watching on Double Lift streams into a Destiny fan if possible. I'd constantly plug, hey, if you like my shit, follow me here. I think that the exposure would be amazing. If you're somebody that regularly streams to less than 100 viewers, and you've got like a big streaming dude who's got more than 1,000 concurrents, willing to host your stuff, I think that's an amazing opportunity. Any drawbacks that might exist would be absolutely imperceptible compared to the enormous amount of like positives that I think could be there, in my opinion.
Well, those specific cases, I think those are the most obvious, very positive, beneficial scenarios, right, for this whole host mode. But what about, like, let's take a step back and look at it from more the standpoint of what this article's about, right? Taking a step towards broadcast TV, where you have large channels that could potentially be aggregators, right? Huge aggregators. And, what we'll probably see is just fewer channels. I mean, these aggregating channels will pretty much draw most of the viewers, I would think.
Well, I guess it depends how you do it.
It'll all come down to scheduling, and it'll all come down to people watching what they want to watch at a certain schedule. Like, nothing is going to change. In terms of like, if you're saying that there are these like large channels that are like aggregating viewers or whatever, I mean, it's not like, let's say there's somebody who really fucking hates my stream. They don't like my stream because I tell people to kill themselves too much or whatever. I'm too angsty. I hate Protoss players, whatever.
Yeah.
And let's say that all of a sudden, like Double Lift or some big league player or Sing Sing or some Dota player, I don't know, somebody decides to host my content on their channel. It's not like all of those people that hated me are suddenly going to be watching the channels that are like posting my stuff. Like, it's not going to work that way. Like, people will still just not watch and they'll go watch other stuff,
Okay.
I mean, I think for me, what this is ultimately is it's almost like an admission that we're not ready for what people were talking about coming into 2014, and that was people like Azubu were talking about how they wanted to create studios that produce content that they would then broadcast on their streaming platform, and it would be 24/7. It would be like a TV station, when they weren't showing something that was new, they'd be showing repeats, they'd be showing restreams, rebroadcasts, VODs, whatever. And I think at the start of 2014, everyone was like, well, this is it. It's the year of the studio. It's the year of new content. We saw even like CSGO, Ninjas in Pajamas, having reality shows produced about them. And obviously we've had for a while, Game Cribs in League of Legends. I think people were feeling that 2014 was the year we were going to come out fighting. Everything was going to be fresh and original broadcast. Everyone would eventually sort of have their own station, if you like. What this is almost an admission of is that we're not quite there. There's not enough new content being produced to go around. So the people that are going to make the money, the people that are going to be smart about it, and are going to be, like you say, the great aggregators of all the content that's out there. And Steven's right in that it's providing a potential opportunity for small streamers. I'm kind of interested about what does it mean for the streamers that don't need the exposure? Like, ones, if someone just decides to rehost.
You sell that shit, dog.
Yeah, well, what, super popular streams, and then it's like, well, this guy's got all the best bits of the best streams in one place.
Yeah.
Does that take away traffic?
No.
Yeah.
There's 0% chance that Twitch is going to let you host someone else's stream without their permission. There's no possible way. I believe that.
Well, that's
because,
for sure. Yeah.
Because when you sign your contract with Twitch, you own your own IP. Everything that I stream, it's my property. So there's no possible way that Twitch can they can't license my stuff to somebody else to host it without my permission first, unless they change their terms of service. And that would be a really big change in their terms of service. Like that, I would leave 100% of Twitch would have changed that they own and they can license out your IP, that they can do stuff like that. I would leave instantly. And I think a lot of people would.
What if it was like an opt-out, like what we have for pornography here in the UK? Like, I don't get to... porn isn't the default. I have to ring up my ISP and say I want porn, and they, flick a switch, and then I'm allowed it. What if Twitch were like, well, actually, unless you expressly say you don't want your stream restreamed because you stream on our platform, people have the right to that? I mean, do you think that's a possibility? They might go down that route? Because they've not fleshed out any details.
I mean, if they go that route, that's fine. As long as there's just some way to get out of it. That would be like a little bit more of a scumbagish way to do it. I say scumbag, but I mean like that'd be like more of like the internet gotcha way to do it. Like, well, you didn't opt out, so you did it. But as long as there has to be some way to opt out if someone else is, because right now it's illegal to restream someone else's stream, right?
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
You can't just
But nobody usually has a problem.
One of the things that people are still struggling to figure out in this industry is that when you talk about like a lot of people, talking about like studio content and whatnot, there's the biggest draw right now. This is like streaming and the internet is like the ultimate embodiment of like fucking free market economics and like no like established anything, like it's the wild fucking west. It really comes down to like having like a really good personality doing something to get you views. People are starting to figure out, or they have been over the past 4 fucking years, that throwing a lot of money at something does not guarantee you views. I mean, ESGN figured that out, NASL, MLG, IPL, all these other organizations kind of quit StarCraft or died, NASL.
Well,
IPL,
they got views. They just didn't pay for.
But not compared to what they put into it.
No.
I mean,
exactly. That's
depends
the
on
problem.
what you mean by that.
It's if you look at it's if you were to graph out the money invested versus the views you get, like Destiny, dick pictures on the internet, $0 invested in his shit, right? Back in StarCraft 2's prime, Destiny would get like 5,000 views with $0 and $100 a month, okay? Because that's my internet cost, right? And then from $100 a month for me to stream and get 4,000 to 5,000 in 2011, 2012, and then you look to like NASL or IPL, and they invest like literally like probably like 10 to 100,000 times more money than me, right? For however much it costs to rent the venue, to get all the people hired, to get the lighting, the production, all of that shit, the internet secured. Like they're spending like tens of thousands of times more dollars than I am for maybe like 6 or 7 times more viewers, right? Or maybe 10 times more viewers, or maybe even 20 times more viewers. But the amount of money that people dump into like those live studios, it's not worth it, because you can't approach like the internet like there's the same barrier to entry here as there is to TV, right? Like to do a TV show, the barrier to entry is huge. Right? You can't just like take your camcorder and go film something and like contact like like TBS or fucking MTV or whatever, like, hey, I want to put my show on here or whatever. And like, no, like, fuck you. Like, you need a whole bunch of shit to do that. On the internet, you don't need shit. Like, you literally just stream from your computer. There's no barrier to entry at all. I think that people are finally starting to understand that. I say that, but then ESGN just recently flopped massively with their YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, it's the joy, isn't it? It's like content should be king, like Bill Gates prophesized, but it feels like for most people it's a massive loss leader because of the sort of business models that we've got in place within esports. And I don't know if this is going to sort of help, if you like, because you're going to be able to sort of do effectively almost like content sharing, which might help people out. I don't know, but it feels, I don't know, it feels like it's a step in the right direction potentially anyway, because at the moment I don't think the number of the amount of content that's being produced and the number of streamers that sort of dominate the landscape, and even they, bar a few, really sort of complain about the returns. I think this is perhaps a step towards, creating this sort of consolidated landscape that I think is going to work out better for everybody. I think it's got potential, but as Steven says, we need to see the real finer points on the idea. It's almost as if, because I imagine because they knew that this Twitch announcement, this Google announcement was coming, they wanted to announce some flagship ideas, like to sort of say,
we're still doing things.
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
still...
Look, we're still coming up with new ideas. We're still creating shit. Don't worry, guys. It's not going to be the same old shit with Google slapped on it. This is going to be real. And then it was like, okay, so what are the specifics? We haven't had a focus group on that yet. Like we all we know is that we're going to do a host mode, and we don't know how it's going to work or who's going to get what. And they really need to clearly define it, because it's a good idea in theory, but all it takes is one or two little stipulations and you've fucked it. You've killed the golden goose.
Sure.
That's the whole thing. Is like
Yeah,
it depends on the actual implementation. Because the idea is like, whatever. It could be either way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll have to wait and see, and hopefully, things maybe we'll start seeing some new channels, or even some channels that are owned by huge organizations starting to manifest into different types of just more content on their streams and stuff. All right, so let's talk about the elephant in the room here now, which is the Google's $1 billion purchase, because it does seem to be confirmed here. And let's take a look at this. All right, so before, when we mentioned it, which was, I don't know, what, two months ago, maybe 6 weeks ago or something like that, I guess it was still in the process of being approved.
Negotiated.
Or negotiated or whatnot, but it looks like it's confirmed now, based on VentureBeat.com, which is pretty...
Well, it's like I told you at the time, right? Okay, so what happened was, something was obviously going on. And I, as I said on Unfiltered at the time when the story first broke, I was in the process of writing several articles that I needed to consult with Twitch staff about, to get, facts, figures. They told me across the board, we can no longer interact with the media at this time. Now...
That's pretty telling right there.
Yeah, it's like, oh, is something happening, guys? Then when I went to DreamHack Summer, and obviously I was working for Twitch out there, I was doing interviews in their lounge. I was hanging out with all the Twitch staff, and you could just see, like, oh, we've got a greasy fucking journalist asshole having dinner with us. And they probably just wanted to talk about it. But all that they said to me was, this is how I knew it was definitely happening as well. Because I was saying, so what's going on with this thing, man? Come on, it's off the record. And they were going, honestly, do you know what? It's a fucking troll. It's the biggest troll ever. That's what they kept telling me. Like, to a man. Like, somebody just said as a joke that Google were going to buy us for $1 billion to a journalist, and then next thing we knew, it was on Variety. So don't you bother yourself for looking into that, Richard. Wink, wink. You just fall asleep in your hotel
room.
Nothing
to see here.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like, guys, what the fuck? Come on. So yeah, so between the two things, I was like, it's obviously gonna happen, but I knew I was gonna get nothing. Like, there was no fucking way. So fair play, Twitch staff handled that like.
Oh,
champs.
they did. Like, nobody. Yeah, I was even asking around a little bit, and nobody would mention a single thing about it. So it's did a good job of keeping it under wraps. I guess the question is $1 billion actually enough? Like, what is it? Should it have been evaluated higher than that? Because Twitch is
I don't think anybody here is qualified to answer that.
I know, but
I don't know if
just,
there's anybody in the world
just,
that's qualified to answer
Well,
that.
there's someone who did an economics A level.
No, just like whatever you think. Like, just it doesn't have to be crazy accurate based on exactly how many.
Wait, does Heyoka have a degree in economics? Wait, is that true?
I took like 2 years of econ classes. Does that count? My 6 classes that I took.
That's as close. Yeah, sure.
Hey, dude, come on. What do you think is an economist?
Associate's degree, man.
I don't know, man. It's like with tech evaluations, they're like so just random numbers.
Yeah, like the biggest joke in the fucking.
Stuff. Yeah,
like you look at there are so many tech startups that like overvalue themselves. Like you read so many fucking stories about all the tech startups with the guys goofing off like 24/7 and how fucking crazy all the money thrown around there is. I mean, streaming is still relatively new, right? In terms of like technology lifespan, streaming has only been popular for what, maybe 4 or 5 years, maybe 5 years. I mean, going back to 2009, I don't think streaming was like anything in 2009. So I mean, like
you stream and shit in 2008, 2009. I guess that was 2009.
Yeah, maybe. But back when Ustream and Livestreamer first started, like everything was so like nobody really watched much streaming, and the technology at the time to stream was like really like iffy. And I mean, I think we're still on like the precipice of streaming. Like I still think it can go.
Well, that's right. That's what I mean.
Up.
It's the precipice. So that's why that's potentially why Google's going in and trying to buy Twitch right now for maybe a discounted price, even though Twitch itself isn't worth that at this exact moment. But it's never been about that. When big companies go and buy other companies, it's based on potential worth too. And Twitch,
For sure.
I think, has an enormous amount of potential worth. And
I mean,
my initial reaction was like 1 billion was wasn't enough. Actually, the first time I heard it.
Yeah,
But-
well, that's what I said on the show at the time. But here's the reality, right? I mean, we can sit here and say that isn't enough. This is an esports venture, people. Like, when was the last time an esports venture made real bank? I mean, real bank.
Well,
That's
that's not just
But
an
that's not
esports
entirely
venture.
fair.
Come on.
You can't necessarily compare Twitch to other esports ventures because Twitch actually has like an actual business model established, and they've done some like really impressive things. They've built the community, which is huge. Twitch is a very big name, arguably the biggest name, or maybe even inarguably the biggest name in like streaming game stuff at the moment.
Yeah,
And
but
they've
that was
also
still a
secured
gamble.
all
That
the
was still a
infrastructure. Oh yeah, no, I'm saying it was a gamble, but they've gotten like a lot of the gambly shit out of the way. Like owning all of their own infrastructure, that's so fucking important. Not having to suck other people off and rent other fucking CDNs out and like third party all of their fucking servers or shit. The fact that they own all of their own shit is so nice. They're parties have to worry about that they have that out of the way. So I mean, the fact that they've got that, the fact that they've got like a working site and all of their technology obviously works, even if we get like a little bit of laggy bullshit every now and then, which for the most part seems like it's gotten a lot better. I think that Twitch, I wouldn't put Twitch on the same level as like ESGN tier.
No,
or
no,
even, like,
I'm not
Twitch.
talking about that.
No.
But here's what I'm saying, okay, right? So back when it was just in TV, and this isn't a super long time ago. I think we're only talking like 2011, when
For
just
what?
in TV, when
But
just
when
in
they
TV,
split off.
yeah,
And
rebranded.
they created
when-
the
Yeah,
Twitch
yeah, it
and
was
they
brand.
called it-
early
called it
2011.
Twitch.
Yeah.
Now,
It might have even-
just in TV's parent company is called Twitch Interactive. So it was a gamble. People were like, look, we've got a gaming section. It's not doing particularly well. This esports focus, we're not too sure. Tell you what though, let's slap a new name on it and see how it does. And then it grew to outshine the original, company
Product, yeah.
and the original product that it branched off from. Now that's super rare in esports. But then at this point,
Oh yeah.
like for a potential sugar daddy purchaser to come in and buy something for $1 billion, like not for like, I don't know, a handshake and a kiss and we'll take on all your debts. I mean, that's usually what an esports company gets sold off for. Esports was never, no matter what people say about this huge growth industry, and it has grown immensely since the early days, but esports assets were always dubious, like CPL Holdings. Like it just gets swapped by like one evil Chinese billionaire like every 3 months or something, and somehow they still pay Scott Valencia, and Angel Munoz gets another extension on his bullshit house that was made on a foundation of lies. But I up until now, this is like the first time we've seen like almost venture capital, a tech startup in esports with an esports focus, not just be successful, but be successfully amalgamated into the mainstream, and for a huge amount of money and doubtlessly a huge amount of profit. It's absolutely unprecedented, I guess, is what I'm trying to drive at.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
Which
so
is a lot
I mean, to
different
talk
than
about
those, though.
whether it's valued or overvalued, all I know is it's been fucking successful, and you can count the amount of times things have been successful on one hand in this business.
I mean,
it's
Twitch is
not
a lot
even
different
close.
than the other ventures,
Yeah.
just in the sense that it's not 100% esports, though. It's not like, that's not all they do. They have all those guys that are like speedrunners, or like the Minecraft guys
Well,
that are immensely popular. They kind of tie into their YouTubes, that sort of thing. So
yeah,
it's like
that is true.
It's not
That
just
is
that; it's the platform itself. The platform itself is scalable to any industry. So yeah, they chose gaming. They really isolated this demographic. They've succeeded, with acquisition and engagement. And I mean, they could easily do it with sports. They could easily do it with music. They could, it's just a platform. It doesn't matter what you do it for. So that's why the technology is just, it's already there, and it has more potential. I mean, it's not even fair to compare it to any of the other esports.
And they are
organizations.
going to branch out. I mean, they've already tentatively done that. We saw there was wrestling
Yeah.
on there. I mean, you've got role-playing shows on there. I've said for a while now, I think the future for Twitch is to become almost like a public access channel. You know, like the ones you get in America where it's like some
Okay.
crazy guy got struck by lightning and thinks Jesus is his best friend now, and he gets like a
Yeah,
dying.
you can watch
store
that shit on the
shower-
PlayStation now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. He gets like a dying
Turn it on
store
your
shower
PS4.
curtain.
Really,
and
I've
just
never
sits
seen
there.
that.
Tell me when, Lord. Tell me when. You know, and everyone has a great time. That's the future for Twitch. Like seriously, I'd love to start a show like that. I might now that I've got the time. Who knows if Twitch.
There you
will-
Real
go.
question
Wow,
is
that'd be awesome.
when does Twitch go the dark ways and embrace the pornographic side of the internet? And then we have another spin-off called Farob.tv.
I thought that's already happened with Desro.
Oh no! All right,
Wow.
all right. Let's
Nice segue.
let's move on.
The negatives. The negatives. One quick thing. The negatives.
Negatives.
Could be
Oh, the negatives for this
disastrous.
purchase.
If-
Okay.
if we see